Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you and say thank you for all your patience and support over this last week and a half, 2 weeks. I know when we left for spring break, we never anticipated not seeing each other again, moving to all online courses. But this is a challenging time, something that when working together, we can get through. So, on that note, I'm going to go ahead and tell you some of the adaptations and modifications I made to this course to transition us to online for the rest of the semester. I think the easiest way to start out is to show you if you go to your home page, this can be either for section A or B. I'm in the section A right now. But if you go to the home page, it'll pull up the weekly course modules as normal. We're going to start with week 10. So you'll see in here a message from Dean Mercer. There's also a content-based video on bullying, because that was our topic for the week we came back. And there are a couple of resources here on bullying as well. There will also be, in between these two, a video that I'm recording right now that talks about our online transition for this class that you need to watch in order to know what we're doing. So let's go back up now that we know where to find information. Let's go to the syllabus tab, and you'll see there is a revised course syllabus and course schedule. So I want to talk you through that, show you some of the assignments, how I've modified them. Some we've been able to keep the same. So let's go ahead and go to our modified course syllabus first. If you look at this is what will pull up when you open it up in your document there. I went ahead and just kind of highlighted in red what has been changed. So now I will have virtual office hours. So every Wednesday from 12 to 1, I'll just be on Zoom, and you can pop in anytime, ask questions. If you need additional office hours or additional time to touch base with me, please just send me an email, and I can definitely set up a individual or small group Zoom session. The conceptual eye, personal lens, let's get to some more instructional strategies. Here we have pretty much finished all that in the first 4 weeks of class, so there was no changes. For the educator lens, includes our cultural strategies presentations. We are going to be using some different technology and tools to kind of still be able to do that assignment. And I'll explain what your options are here in a little bit more detail in just a moment. But some of the tools you can choose from are Google Docs, VoiceThread, Adobe Spark Video, Canva, and some more. And then for the systemic institutional lens, we'll have our discussion board still. You'll have assignments you turn in on a regular Word document, but then we'll also include chats. This will kind of be an open chat room for you to pose questions, get clarification, and kind of just support each other. So let's go ahead and look at the course requirements and see specifically how they've changed. Class participation, obviously, because we're now going to be online, has to change. I have gone in and put in grades for the face-to-face participation that you've already done. Starting with this week, you'll now be getting credit weekly for class participation by completing some online tasks. So each week, if we go back into our course homepage, go to the assignments tab, you will see now there's culture inclusive teaching and learning, and then topics associated with each of those. So for week 10, our topic is bullying. So if you go into that, you'll see for this assignment, complete the Flipgrid at the following link. And then there's a Flipgrid link here. The assignment is going to be available from today until the 30th. So it is due, though, March 30th. It's available till and due on the same date. If you actually click on the Flipgrid link, though, you'll see it will pull up, and for each group it'll be different. For the section A, it'll pull up this one. For section B, it'll just have a little B there. The topic is going to be the same, though. You're going to answer the following questions. So is one new learning you gained from the content-based video on bullying? And that video you can find if you go back into the homepage here. Remember, you go into your modules, and you'll see the content-based video on bullying right there. In addition, you're going to add an insight you gained about the bullying from our guest presenter, Dr. Huey. Then you're going to talk about a connection you made to your peers' cultural strategies presentation. So for this, in order to see your peers' cultural strategies presentation, you're going to have to go back into our modules here. And what I've asked each group to do, or what I will ask each group to do, is go into your discussion board. And for the group this week that did bullying, they've already posted their discussion board here. I'm going to have one group member go in either at the very end, probably be the easiest way to do it. So they go into the very end of the discussion board and add a link to their cultural strategies presentation. You will need to watch that cultural strategies presentation and then be able to make a connection. And then finally, you're going to watch each other's Flipgrids and make a connection to at least 3 of your peers. This way we still have some interaction amongst us as a class, and you're going to kind of be able to see and hear from each other through these Flipgrids. So let's go back here to our course module. Sorry about that. So if we look at this, the class participation now is going to be based on the completion of those videos. You'll have one Flipgrid video each week that you need to complete based on the topic that's being covered that week. And you'll get 2 points per video. There are 8 that we'll be watching for the rest of the semester. So it is essential that you complete each of the videos. If not, it can drop your letter grade by 1 whole letter. So please make sure that's how we're going to count the participation in the course, is the completion of these videos. Additionally, for class participation, you can kind of see here, in total, we've already allocated 16 points for the semester. The remaining 16 points will be based on those videos that you finish. 2 points per video. Again, if you don't do those videos, it could affect your letter grade. We've already completed our identity webs, Flipgrids, and identity poems, so you don't need to do any changes there. When it comes to conceptual I educator lens, we have the diverse text set lesson. You were assigned a group. Half the groups have already finished this. The other ones are coming up. You need to complete the lesson plan that's in the assignment tab for the diverse text set lesson, and then submit that online. But then you're still going to do your cultural strategies presentation using one of the following tools. Again, I said Google Slides, VoiceThread, Adobe Spark Video, Canva, and S'more. One or more of the following tools, actually, because you will need to use Canva or S'more in addition to one of these here. So let's go into that assignment to get a better view or a better idea of what that would look like. So if we go back up to our assignments here, and the way you're going to complete the cultural strategies presentation has been detailed in your assignment for the cultural strategies presentation. So for example, our group coming up on bullying, we have Emily, Kenna, Riley, and Madison for section A, and then Allison and Kenna for section B. You'll see in the cultural strategies tab now, their assignment tab, there is a revision. It explains exactly what needs to be done. So for group A, or section A, I put in here a reminder of your group, the due date, and the presenters. So for bullying, by this Friday, Emily, Kenna, Riley, and Madison will need to have their cultural strategies presentation completed and ready to upload. And then Allison and Kenna for section B will do the same. So the purpose of the presentation, again, is the same. It's to share culturally relevant strategies that can be applied in your future classrooms. And there are still 3 parts to the presentation. You're just going to do it all online now instead of face-to-face. So the first part of the presentation will now be either a 10-minute VoiceThread, Adobe Spark Video, or Google Slides presentation that summarizes the themes each group member pulled out from their peer responses to the individual articles they posted on their socio-political context discussion boards. So just like we've done in class, you'll present the themes that you pulled out from your peer responses. Make sure when you're doing this, though, that you have slides of some sort that kind of summarize those key themes you pulled, 2 to 3 slides. And again, I put slides in parentheses because it can be based on, in VoiceThread, there's like slides, Adobe Spark Video, however you want to put it together, it's up to you. The main thing is whatever platform you use, VoiceThread, Adobe Spark Video, or Google Slides, you have to have audio for each group member that orally shares the themes highlighted. So make sure we can hear you as well as see the information on the slides. In total, this first part of the presentation should be about 10 minutes, approximately 2.5 minutes per group member. And then the second part of the presentation can again be on a VoiceThread, Adobe Spark Video, or Google Slide. But it's where each group member is going to present their individual diverse text set lesson plan. The key is with part 1 and part 2, they should be the same platform. So if you use a VoiceThread for part 1, use a VoiceThread for part 2. If you use Adobe Spark for part 1, use Adobe Spark for part 2, or Google Slides. Just make sure whichever platform you use that one person sets it up and then shares the link and password with the other group members so that you can all be contributing to the same presentation. So let's go into the second part. This is where you're going to share your book. So since we're doing it online, not face-to-face in small groups anymore, go ahead and include a picture of the book. So a slide that actually shows the cover of the book that you're going to use. If you need to pick a book online because you don't have access to a public library, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But try and share like a screenshot of what that book would look like. For the actual presentation, you're going to overview the lesson plan you developed, making sure to include at least a 1-minute summary of the book with pictures if you can from the actual inside of the book, and then a 3-minute summary of the lesson plan with an emphasis on the activities that you would implement. And try and include a sample of at least one of the activities in your presentation. So you'll come up with slides for each group member's presentation and try and show us what an activity might look like. And then finally, for the individual books, you need to have a reflection. That should be at least a 1-minute reflection that discusses what you liked about the book and 2 to 3 teaching tips for peers who may want to use this book for the future. So just like in our in-class presentations, you have the summary of the discussion boards in part 1, the presentation of your books in part 2, and for each individual group member, the book presentation should be about 5 minutes. And then the third part, the presentation should be the group created S'more Canva poster. Now, again, I want the link for this part in your presentation. So if you used a VoiceThread, you should have links for all that in VoiceThread. If you use Adobe Spark Video, have a link in the video. Google Slides presentation, same thing. Just make sure whatever platform you choose, the information is consistent throughout. In this part 3 of your presentation where you're sharing the poster, each group member should orally talk about 2 to 3 of the strategies identified by the group. That way every group member is talking in this last part of the presentation. And also emphasize why the specific strategies you're talking about are beneficial for your target group. So again, similar format to what we did face-to-face. We're just now converting it all to online. One additional note is once the group has completed their presentation, their cultural strategies presentation, you're going to upload your completed presentation in 2 places. First, put the link in your assignment tab titled Cultural Strategies Presentation, and then put a link in your socio-political context discussion board so that your peers can go in and watch your presentation and then respond on the Flipgrid. So the question now might be, when is everything due? So for bullying cultural strategies presentation, the articles have already been posted, discussion boards are completed. So the presentation will be due the 27th of March. Because I want to keep us moving forward, the disability group, which for section A is Jessica, Kylie, Ashton, and Abby, and for section B is Valerie, Griffin, and Raquel, you need to get articles read and posted by the 25th, which is Wednesday. And then peers need to have responses for those discussion boards by the 27th. If the group can do it sooner than the 25th, that's great. But your responses have to be turned in by the 27th. That will allow the group time to come up with their presentation, which is due on the 3rd. So you can see we've kind of shifted due dates. We're going to keep this consistent for section A and B. So please make sure you carefully, if you're one of the groups coming up, you carefully look at these due dates, make sure you understand what's going on. For the culturally inclusive teaching and learning on bullying, that's your Flipgrid response. That's going to be due on the 30th for this first one. And then each date after is identified here below. So just pay really close attention to that calendar. Let me see, what else do we need to go over? So if we look at, I don't know, it keeps giving me that workout. So if we look at our conceptual educator lens, you still have your lesson plan you're turning in, the written one, and then you have the presentation of it in your cultural strategies. The systemic institutional lens, that's where we have our discussion boards. Those will stay the same. Just look at the shifted due dates. And then our conceptual eye reflection paper, it's our final paper. That will be due at the end of the semester. That one is an online assignment using Word. And if we go down here to the bottom, you'll see there's due dates for section A and for section B. I think that is the main information I wanted to cover with you. If you're uncertain or unclear about any of the upcoming assignments or how we shifted anything, please let me know. I really look forward to touching base with you guys soon. One last thing I will do to kind of support groups with the cultural strategies presentations is I will email each group and try and set up a Zoom session with at least 2 to 3 group members so that I can answer questions and provide support as needed. Remember, there are also the virtual office hours that you have available to you. So if you go back into the syllabus here, why I keep doing that, if you go back up to the top of our modified syllabus, you'll see the virtual office hours are on Wednesday from 12 to 1. The link for those office hours are here with the meeting ID if you should need it. So please remember, do not hesitate to reach out, ask for support. We're here. It's a bit of a challenging time, but we are EdCats. We can do this. We'll get through it. And thank you guys so much. I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you guys soon. Talk to you later.